Good morning everyone. Welcome back to the today's session called biotechnology and its application. So hope you remember in the last session we have studied the application of biotechnology. So where we come across Bt cotton, right? So today we will going to study about Bt toxin. So that is, what is this Bt toxin? That is the Bacillus thuringiensis. So Bacillus thuringiensis is the bacteria which is called as it is a bacteria called as Bacillus thuringiensis, which is used as a what? Biocontrol agent. So in today's session, let us understand what you mean by this Bt toxin. So what is this Bt toxin? What does this Bt stands for? Bt stands for what? Bacillus thuringiensis, right? So a bacteria called as Bacillus thuringiensis. So as you know, it is used as a biocontrol agent, which is which are available in the form of powder or a spores, and when they are sprayed on the plants and the larvae, when they eat that leaf with a Bt toxin, then definitely the toxin is going to enter the gut of the larvae and then it is going to die. So it is also used to biocontrol. It is as a what, as I told, it is a biocontrol agent. It is also used as a biocontrol agent. Now let us understand what is this, what do you mean by this Bt toxin. So these are the insecticidal protein. So these are the insecticidal proteins produced by Bacillus thuringiensis. So what is this Bt toxin? So it is the insecticidal proteins which is produced by the Bacillus thuringiensis. So what do you mean by insecticidal protein? That which will kill the insects. That is called as what? Insecticidal proteins. So this Bacillus thuringiensis is going to produce an insecticidal protein which is usually use the as we know that we usually use the word called as crystal protein produced by this Bacillus thuringiensis. So you know, because of the increasing demand for the food and for the increasing population, to meet the demands, the food for the food for the increasing population, people have started using the chemical. So extensive use of chemical fertilizers has enhanced the population, that is pollution of the soil, and also there are by killing a many useful organism. So the best way is to avoid the use of chemical fertilizers. Better to use this Bt toxin to avoid the insects or the pest. So the use of the Bt toxin. So what is the use of this Bt toxin then? So the Bt toxin kills the insects like lepidopterans, chilopterans and the dipteran. As I said, the Bt toxin which will produce the insecticidal proteins which is produced by the bacteria called as Bacillus thuringiensis, which will kill the insects like lepidopterans, chilopterans and the dipterans. So as I said, Bt toxin were sprayed on the plant where we come across when the larvae eat such a leaf, particularly the caterpillar of the butterfly. When they feed on such leaf, the toxin which will enter to the gut of a larvae, and then definitely larvae is going to die. So this is one form of protecting the crop from the insects. So Bt toxin which will kills the lepidopteran, chilopteran and the dipteran, right? So next, what is the one application of biotechnology is to get pest resistant plant? Justify. So as we know, one of the main application of biotechnology is what? Pest resistant plants. So instead of going for spraying a chemical fertilizers extensively, using that extensive use of this chemical fertilizers which is going to harm the soil content and also decrease the soil fertility. So the better way is to produce a pest resistant one, right? So that instead of adding the fertilizers, so the plants are resistant to the pest. So then there will be no need of chemical fertilizer. So one of the major applications of biotechnology is to get what? Is to pest resistant plant. So some strains of this Bacillus thuringiensis which will produce a what? Protein crystals. As I said, they are also called as what? Crystal protein or a protein crystals or the insecticidal proteins which will kill the insects like Lepidopteran, Chilopteran and the Dipterans. And these protein crystals are formed during the certain phases of their growth. So then what will happen? So that is how one of the important, that is pest resistant. Then what happen? The Cry genes. So what we call as crystal protein, Cry1 AC. So the Cry1 AC and the Cry2 crystal gene AB. So that is from the Bacillus, which is encoded by this genes control bollworms, particularly the bollworms. That means which will control the bollworms. This crystal 1 AC and the crystal 2 AB from the Bacillus, which will encoded these genes which will control the bollworms, as I told, particularly the bollworms. So this Bt cotton plants express the Bt toxin gene by producing the toxin that is provided insect resistant. So this Bt toxin plants, particularly that Bt cotton plants, express the Bt toxin gene by producing the toxin that provide insect resistant plants, that is insect resistance. So as we know that cotton is one of the commercial and also they have a very great economic value, and these need to be protected from the bollworm. So there we come across this Bt toxin plants which will express the Bt toxin gene by producing the toxin that provided insect resistance. So that is how the cotton plant has been protected. So next, the Bt toxin protein exists as an inactive protein. So they will exist as an inactive protein. So they will be in the form of inactive prototoxins. They will be exist in the form of what? Inactive prototoxins. So but when the insects ingest the inactive toxin, which will convert into what? Which will convert into active toxin. So it will convert into active toxin at alkaline pH of gut of an insect, which will solubilize the crystal. So due to the alkalinity of the gut of an insect, which will solubilize the crystal. So then they form a crystal protein, which is nothing but what? Toxic substances which is going to kill the larvae of an insect. So then this toxin binds to the surface of the midgut epithelial cell and create the pores that cause the cell swelling and the lysis. Eventually they will cause what? So lysis means what? Lysis means what? It is a, that is killing. That is what you mean by destroying the cells. Eventually the cause, which will cause to the death of an insect. So that is about what? Application. So what is this function of crystal A1AC, crystal crystal 2 AB and crystal 1 AB? So what is this function of this crystal proteins then? So as we know that these are all the crystal proteins, right? And these crystal proteins has been extracted from the Bacillus thuringiensis, right? So which is extracted from the bacteria called as Bacillus thuringiensis. That is crystal 1 AC, crystal 2 AB, crystal 1 AB, right? So these crystal 1 AC and crystal 2 AB, which will control the cotton bollworms, and the crystal 1 AB, which will control the corn borers. So you know, particularly the corn plant and the as well as the cotton plants, they are the commercial and also the economic important crops. so which are usually affected by the bollworms and also the corn borers. So which is going to bore the stem and the root is going to damage the plant. So this corn borers and the bollworms, what they will do, they will bore the stem and the root, and that is how it is going to damage the crop. So such types of crystal protein are used for controlling the bollworms and the corn borers. And there is one more nematode called Melogdini ignatia. So it is a nematode that infects the roots of the tobacco plant. So what is going to do? They will affect the effect of this Melogdini ignatia. So on the plants. So it will decreases the yield of the plants. So these are also this is also be controlled. So nematode means what? It is a roundworm, right? So that infects the roots of the tobacco plant. As well as we know that tobacco is one of the commercial and also the economic plant. So it is going to damage the roots of the tobacco plants, and there it will decrease the yield of the crop also. So as I told, it will decrease the yield of the crop plant. So that eukaryotic organism type of that is organisms, that is RNI. So RNA means RNA. I means is the interference. I stand for interference. So RNA means RNA interference will takes place. That is crystal A1 AC and crystal AB, crystal 2 AB will control the cotton and the bollworms, and crystal 1 AB which will controls the corn borer. So this Melogdini ignatia is the nematode that infects the root of a tobacco plant, which is going to decrease the yield of a plant crop. So that is how it has been affected. So now let us see what is this RNI. So what is this RNI? RNA interference. So this is the method of silencing of the specific mRNA due to the complementary double-stranded RNA molecule that binds and prevents the translation of mRNA. So what is this RNI? It is a, what does it stand for? I stand for RNA interference. So what is this RNA interference method? It is a method of silencing of a specific mRNA due to the complementary double-stranded RNA molecule that binds and prevents the translation of mRNA. So what are all the steps that are involved in this RNA interference? So now let us understand what are those steps that is being involved in this RNA interference. So as we know that it affects the roots of the tobacco plants and reduces the yield. So a nematode called as Melogdini ignatia, which will infect the roots of a tobacco plants and will reduce their yield. So this nematode specific genes were introduced into the host plant using the Agrobacterium as a vector. So Agrobacterium as a agent. The specific gene is going to affect the particular species of a nematode, that is the Melogdini ignatia. So it has been introduced to the where? It has been introduced to the host plants using the Agrobacterium as a vector or a agent. Then the introduction of DNA was such that is produced both sense and the antisense RNA in the host cell. So RNA interference, what is it? It is a method of silencing of a specific mRNA due to the complementary double-stranded RNA molecule that binds and prevents the translation of mRNA. So what are the steps that is involved in the this RNA interference? A nematode called Melogdini ignata infects the roots of the tobacco plant and they will reduce the yields. So those nematode specific genes were introduced into the host plant using the Agrobacterium as a vector. So the introduction of DNA was such that it is produced both sense and the antisense RNA in the host cell. Next, These two RNA being complement to each other formed on a double stranded RNA making it inactive. So then what will happen? This double stranded RNA molecule will binds to it and prevents the translation of mRNA, that is slicing of the host by processing the that is processing called as what? RNA interference, right? So with these procedure or with this result, what will happen? What will be the result? So this result was that the parasite could not survive in the transgenic host because the genetically host is modified. So obviously the parasites, the nematode Meloxidine agnata, could not survive in the transgenic host. So this process will change the transgenic host. So the result was that the parasite could not survive in the transgenic host and the transgenic plant got protected from the parasite. So that is how the steps has been involved in this RNA interference mechanism. Now moving on to the biotechnology application in the what? Medicine. So hope you got to know this. So now moving on to the next one is, what is the important or the application of biotechnology in the field of medicine? So you have studied what are all the application that has been used in the agriculture. The biotechnology, how has been, it is being used in the what? In the agriculture. Now let us understand that is biotechnology applications in the medicine. So I think all of us know how important the field of medicine is, particularly at this point of time where we all facing the coronavirus. So as we all know that we are waiting for the vaccine to be developed against this COVID-19 virus. So imagine if we stick on to the for good hold conventional method of producing the vaccine, I think definitely definitely is not going to work out, and the scientists are using more and more scientific technology to come out with a better toxin which can be used successfully against this coronavirus. So biotechnology plays a very great role, particularly in the field of medicine. I think all of us know science and technology has improved such an extent, that is such a great extent, and the great extent that the better development developed vaccine or a better development medicine has brought into the market to help the human mankind to get rid of these diseases. So one such, we all are waiting for the vaccine for coronavirus. So now let us understand what is the application in the medicine, in the field of medicine. So how this biotechnology is useful in the field of medicine. So as we have studied in the previous chapter called biotechnology principle and process, how useful the concepts are. For example, like rDNA technology and DNA fingerprinting. So all those are the technology which will help the human mankind in many ways. For example, you take DNA fingerprinting itself. So one very important of DNA fingerprinting is you can overcome the dispute parents and also to find the culprit who has committed the crime, maybe the murder or rape, etc. So imagine by taking a small traces of DNA, they can be able to multiply it and identify the culprits by comparing the DNA with the victim. So who had committed the crime. So that is what being technology, particularly in the field of medicine. So now let us understand biotechnological application in the field of medicine. So the application of biotechnology in medicine, that is mass production of safe and more effective therapeutic drugs. You know, medicine are produced, but as we know that medicine has been produced, so but at the same time they make, so they must be effective and they should not cause any side effect to the user. That is very very important. As I told, a mass production of drugs or a medicine is produced, but it should be what, they should not have any side effect to a user. So not just producing the drugs or the medicine, but when will might cause the harmful effect on the body of a user. So mass production of safe and more effective therapeutic drugs, it is a very important application of the biotechnology in the field of medicine. Next, it is introduced to the in the gene therapy. So see, what is this gene therapy? So see, now the technology has been improved so much, so that we get rectify any diseases or any genetic disorder by using this very important process called as gene therapy. So what do you mean by gene therapy? Therapy means what? It is a treatment. So for example, if a person is having a highly diabetic and his pancreas not at all working at all, so when he can, that means then what he will do, he can take the gene from the pancreas of a healthy person, and it has been introduced into the pancreas of a diseased person, where it can, what will happen, where it is going to rectify and the functioning of the pancreas of the diseased person. So that is what we call as what, gene therapy. So I definitely gene therapy has come to a rescue of human mankind in curing many genetic disorders and many abnormalities. So that is one application. So it is introduced in the water, introduced in the gene therapy. Next is, it has been introduced in the preparation of clotting factor. So, I think all of us know many are people suffering from hemophilia diseases, which where the person blood is failed to clot, and even the small wound or a cut, when it is caused, it will have, what will they will feel, they will have a profuse bleeding and oozing of the blood, which may causes the death of a person. So the technological process are applied even in the preparation of the clotting factor, particularly hemophilic patient, right? So that is how the technology has been improved, where they can introduce into the preparation of the clotting factor, right? Next, it has been introduced in the preparation of antibiotics and the vaccine. As I said, imagine if antibiotics were not there, where vaccine were not there. I think we would not overcome this dreadful diseases like plague, diphtheria, whooping cough, measles, cholera, etc., etc. Right? Now, as we are, that is, as I said already, we are waiting for the what, vaccine for the coronavirus, right? That is, we are eagerly waiting for the what, vaccine for this pandemic. This is coronavirus pandemic. So that we can get where we can get rid of, and everything will come to a normal. So there, this biotechnology applications, where this biotechnology play an important role in the field of medicine, right? That is how this biotechnology has a, with the improved science and technology, they have put forth into a medicine where they can cure many diseases and the abnormalities. So that is how have been applications of this biotechnology in the field of medicine. So now moving on to the next is the advantages of recombinant therapeutics. So what are all the advantages of this recombinant therapeutics? Recombinant therapeutics do not induce unwanted immunological response like similar products of non-human resources, right? You can see here. So you can come across the advantages of recombinant therapeutic. So many useful drugs has been produced by the application of biotechnology, which will not have any side effects, which will be which will have a prime more effective to the user. So here you can see this, it is being used in the process of cosmetics, proteins, peptide. So they have, as I said, it is being used in the process of formation of cosmetics, then proteins, peptide, neutro, that is nutraceuticals, small drugs, small molecular drugs, veterinary products, tobacco products, food safety, dietary supplements, medical devices, right? And so the advantages of recombinant therapeutic will have so many advantages, where the recombinant therapeutic do not induce unwanted immunological response like similar products of non-human sources. So at present 30 recombinant therapeutics have been approved for human use in the world over. So at present, how many recombinant therapeutics have been used? That is 30. So and in the present, 12 recombinant therapeutics have been marked for human use in India. So this is worldwide. So this is in India, right? So see, imagine with the application of biotechnology, that is with the knowledge of this biotechnology, with the advantages, advanced techniques and the advanced instruments that are utilized in the making of product, has definitely helped the human mankind in a many ways by curing the what many diseases and even like producing the useful products, etc., right? So the very important advantages of this recombinant therapeutics at present, we have 30 recombinant therapeutics have been approved for human use in the world over, and also presently 12 recombinant therapeutics have been remarked for human use in the India. So this is how the advantages of recombinant therapeutics. Now moving on to the genetically engineered insulin. The next topic, that is genetically engineered insulin. I think all of us know nowadays diabetics has become very common disorder in many human beings. Maybe the lifestyle, the food habits and even the stress and strain. So that is how to overcome this, a human being has been definitely made him to get prone to a very common disorder called as diabetes mellitus. So what is diabetes mellitus? I think all of us know it is a very common disorder and it is a very important heterocrine organ called as pancreas in human body, which is both endocrine gland and the exocrine gland. And as we know that pancreas both is endocrine and the exocrine gland, and the endocrine part of the pancreas called as islets of Langerhans. So the endocrine part of the pancreas called as islet of Langerhans is produced two types of cells, that is alpha cell and the beta cells, right? So there are an exocrine part and the endocrine part. So the exocrine part, pancreas produces what? Exocrine secretion, pancreatic secretion, which help in the process of digestion of proteins and many useful food substances. So here this endocrine part of the pancreas called as islet of Langerhans, which will produce the two types of cells called as alpha and the beta cells. So the alpha cell will produce the hormone called as glucagon, and this beta cells which will produce some hormone called as insulin. So I think all of us know blood glucose level will keeps on varying in the body. So that is depending upon the diet or the stress. So it depends upon the body's metabolic activities where the glucose level will be rises up. What will happen immediately? I think all of us know there is a very unique system inside our body. That is unique mechanism which is there in our body, that is inside our body, called as homeostasis. So what is this homeostasis? That is the maintenance of the internal environment. So when the blood glucose level will rises up immediately, like the insulin from the islet of Langerhans, that is the beta cells produce the insulin, and the insulin is going to convert the glucose into glucogen, which is stored in the liver. Suppose if glucose level is dropped, so immediately glucagon comes into the picture and the converts back like glucogen into glucose. So that is how it is going to maintain balance. So when the pancreas of a person is not functioning properly, then we'll have a uncontrollable glucose balance, and that will lead to what we call it as what? Diabetes mellitus. So now particularly, you know, the insulin is extracted, as we know that in early days. So the insulin were extracted from the slaughtered cattle and the pigs. So all these days it was extracted from the slaughtered pigs and the cattle. But later on it has been started causing some side effect on the human body. And so human inulin, which is called as human humulin, now which is used in the market. Now that is this is used as a insulin for the diabetics patient. You know, there are type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is totally depend on the insulin, and type 2 they can control through the food habitats, right? Like glucose level can be controlled by the food intake, right? Whatever the food we can intake, it can control the glucose level. So with this concept, inulin has been developed through the biotechnology process. Now let us understand how this human insulin is produced, and now that we call as what? Genetically engineered insulin. So I think all of us know even the gene therapy has come into picture. So where the diseased person whose pancreas is not functioning properly, the gene from the healthy person pancreas is taken and it is introduced into the diseased person, where it is going to alter the functioning of the pancreas. So that sufficient insulin is produced and it can regulate the glucose level in the blood. So that is what is being done in the field of biotechnology, particularly in the field of medicine, through a very important technique called as gene therapy. So what is this genetically engineered insulin? As I said, genetically engineered means what? That is manipulating the genes. You can alter the genes structure for a beneficial purpose. So what is this genetically engineered insulin then? So an American company called Eli Lilly. An American company called as Eli Lilly, an American company, prepared a human insulin for the first time using the biotechnology. So as I said, all these days people were using the insulin which is extracted from the pancreas of the slaughtered cattle and the pig, which has a side effect on the human body. So now this human insulin has been developed, that is through the biotechnology by a company called Eli Lilly. That is, it is an American company, right? So which has been developed for the first time using the biotechnology. And how this synthesis? Now let us understand what is this and how is this synthesized, which is going to happen That is how this synthesis has been made through biotechnology in the next class.